Synthesis and design of inorganic materials. The interest in the properties of solid and development of new material has given rise to a development of huge variety of methods. There is a huge variety of methods which are available for the synthesis of solid materials. And when we are going to when someone is going to prepare a solid, he will select most suitable method. And the method selection depend on the composition of the solid. What composition of solid we are going to synthesize. So we will choose the method which is best for that composition of solid. And the method chosen also depend on the purpose used of the material. Either the material is required in highly pure form or it is not required in highly pure form. So when the material is required in a highly pure form, we will choose such a method which will produce highly pure form of the solid. For example, silica glass is prepared in industry, and there are different applications or different uses of silica glass. One use is for optical fibers, and the other use is to make laboratory equipment. So, in the formation of laboratory equipment, there is no need of highly pure silica glass, but in the preparation of fiber optics or optical fibers, a highly pure silica glass will be required. So, a specialized method will be used for this application, and less expensive method will be used for this application. Some method may be particularly useful for producing solid in form that are not stable under normal conditions. Means some special methods are used to prepare the forms of the materials or materials, which materials cannot be produced by normal methods under normal conditions. So specialized methods are used, for example, synthesis of diamond. Ordinary method cannot be used for synthesis of diamond because here very high pressure is required. So specialized methods are used, specialized conditions are used for synthesis of diamond. Other methods may be chosen because they favor the formation of unusual oxidation states. For example, preparation of chromium oxide by hydrothermal method. We will study in detail hydrothermal method. What is hydrothermal method? So when we are going to synthesize chromium dioxide, we prepare it by, we will select the hydrothermal method. Why we will select the hydrothermal method? Because hydrothermal method promote the production of fine powders. We need a fine powder. So chromium dioxide, for the preparation of chromium dioxide, we will use hydrothermal method because fine powder will be obtained, and by contrast, large single crystal means in other methods, large single crystals are formed, and in hydrothermal method, fine powders will be obtained. And chromium dioxide is having unusual oxidation. Chromium has unusual oxidation, that is oxidation state, that is +4, and its synthesis is done by hydrothermal method. For industrial use, a method that does not employ high temperature could be favored because of the ensuring energy savings. In industries, for the synthesis of material, we will choose such a method for the synthesis of material, in which method there will be requirement of temperature, low requirement of temperature, not high requirement of temperature, because higher requirement of temperature will cause more wastage of energy. So here for low temperature conditions, we will choose such a method in which there is low temperature condition for industrial use. to prevent wastage of energy for saving energy. In the preparation of solids, care usually has to be taken to use stoichiometric quantity, pure starting materials, and to ensure that the reaction has gone to completion. So there are some points which we have to consider in the preparation of solid, that is the reactants which we are mixing, they should be in stoichiometric quantity, mean according to the required quantity in the stoichiometric ratio according to the balanced chemical equation. Starting material should be pure, otherwise the end product will not be pure. And to ensure that the reaction has gone to completion, means no wastage of reactant, we will choose such a method in which the reaction has gone to completion. We will provide such conditions that reaction go to completion. Because it is usually not possible to purify a solid once it has formed. So when the solid is formed, sometimes it is not easy to purify it. So we use stoichiometric quantities, pure starting material, and the reaction goes to completion. And in this way, the product form will be highly pure. There will be no reactants mixed in it, and there will be no impurities in the starting material, and there will be stoichiometric quantities, mean no one reagent will be in excess amount. So all the reactants will be converted to the products, and no pure product will be formed. So the method, high temperature method, that is called high temperature ceramic method for the synthesis of solids, for the synthesis of materials. And in high temperature ceramic method, we will first study direct heating of solids, and direct heating of solid method is ceramic method. So ceramic method is high temperature method in which the reactants are subjected to very high temperature, and in this way the product is formed. The simplest and most common method is ceramic method. It consists of heating together two non-volatile solids which react to form the required product. We directly heat two reactants or two solids, and at high temperature these two reactants react and form the product. This method is used to synthesize a whole range of materials such as mixed metal oxides, sulfide, nitrides, aluminum silicates, and many others. So such type of compounds can be mixed metal oxide, mean mixture of two metal oxides or more than two metal oxides, and all other inorganic materials can be prepared by this ceramic method. So we will study the synthesis of zirconium silicon oxide by ceramic method, how it can be prepared by ceramic method. But why we prepare zircon? What is its application? It is used in ceramic industry as a basis of high temperature pigments to color the glazes and bathrooms, or to color the glazes on bathroom china. So the materials which are made from china clay for coloring that material, the zircon is used as a pigment. It is made by a direct reaction of zirconium oxide and silicon dioxide, zircon dioxide at 1300 degrees centigrade. It is high temperature method, so high temperature is required. This is a chemical reaction. Zirconium dioxide, silicon dioxide, both are in solid form. In powder form, they are directly heated and they form the product, that is zirconium silicon oxide, which is used as a pigment. The procedure is to take stoichiometric amount of binary oxide. Stoichiometric amount, here the balanced chemical equation show that zirconium oxide ratio is 1 and silicon oxide ratio is 1, so they will have to mix in 1:1. This is a stoichiometric amount. So all the reactants will be converted to products. So we will take the reactants in stoichiometric amount These are reactants are binary oxides, silicon binary oxide, and zirconium is also binary oxide. We will grind them them in a pestle and mortar to give a uniform small particle size. We will obtain a powder. We will first take in stoichiometric amount, then we will powder it and then heat in a furnace for several hours in alumina crucible, crucible made up of aluminum oxide. For several hours it is heated, and after that zirconium silicon oxide will be formed. Disadvantage of this ceramic method. The first and main disadvantage is high temperature requirement. That 500 to 2000 degrees centigrade temperature is required, and so a large input of energy is required. Coordination number in these ionic binary compounds are high, varying from 4 to 12 large energy to overcome the lattice energy. So coordination number in the crystallites will be very high, that is 4 to 12. And to reduce the mean particle size is large. And to reduce the particle size, we will need a high amount of energy, because in this case there is high lattice energy and we have to break up this lattice energy for reducing the particle size. The phase or compound desired may be unstable and decompose on such high temperatures. Sometimes the product is unstable, and on such a high temperature, 500 to 1000 degrees centigrade, the product may decompose into other products. And reactions such as this can be very slow. Several hours are required, and sometimes more than 24 hours are required. Sometimes these type of reactions are very slow. Starting material are ground to give a small particle size and are very well mixed to maximize the surface contact area and minimize the distance that the reactants have to diffuse. So what is the drawback? We will have to reduce the particle size to a very small size, and it is also a very difficult task, and it is its disadvantage. The size should be such small that all particles contact with each other, and the distance should be minimum between the particles, and the reactants should diffuse to each other. So very small particle size of the reactant is required. In this process, reaction mixture is removed during the heating process and deground to bring fresh surfaces in contact and so speed up the reaction. We again and again crush the material to reduce the particle size, and in the reaction mixture during heating process it is removed to speed up the reaction. The particles can be converted into pellets. The preparation of ternary example is the preparation of ternary oxide, copper iron oxide, copper ferrite. And the reactant involved for the synthesis of copper ferrite are, one reactant will be copper oxide, other reactant will be iron oxide. So we will mix these two, we will crush in powder, we will take in stoichiometric amount, then we crush in powder, and then we will heat in the furnace for 23 hours. So it is a large time. And here is pestle and mortar for powdering of the reactant. And this is aluminum crucibles. These are also crucibles. And this is the furnace. We heat the sample in this furnace. This is about the previous slide that we are going to prepare the ternary oxide, that is copper ferrite. So copper ferrite product is often not homogeneous. As the reaction proceeds, a layer of ternary oxide is produced at the interface of the two crystals. For example, here are two crystals of reactants. These are reactant crystals, and in between these two, a product layer is formed. So this product layer, what is the drawback of formation of this product layer? More ion will have to diffuse through these layers before they react, and the reaction can be slow due to formation of this layer between the interface of two crystals. This layer is of ternary oxide layer, product layer. So all the reaction proceed, layer of ternary oxide is produced at the interface of two crystals, and so ions now need to diffuse through these before they react. Other ion will have to diffuse through this layer before they react, and in this way reaction speed will become low. So what is the solution? It is usual to take the initial product, grind it again, and reheat several times before a phase pure product is obtained. So the solution of this problem is to taking the product and then grinding it, reheating it, then taking the product, grinding it, and reheating it until very pure product is obtained. Trial and error usually has to be used to find out the best reaction conditions for this ternary oxide preparation, and the sample should be tested by powder X-ray diffraction to determine the phase purity, and that through trial and error method we can check that how many times regrinding of material is required. We will study the material through X-ray diffraction, and X-ray diffraction can determine the purity. So in this way, by the help of X-ray diffraction, we can determine how many times a regrinding of the sample is needed for obtaining high pure product. Solid state reaction up to 2300 Kelvin are usually carried out in furnace, which use resistance heating. The furnace can maintain up to 2300 Kelvin temperature, and in the furnace the heating mechanism is resistance heating. Resistance is the reciprocal of conductance. Heating up to 2300 Kelvin, when there is resistance of electricity flow, heat is produced. Higher temperature, if the temperature higher than 2300 Kelvin is required, this higher temperature can be achieved by directing an electric arc at the reaction mixture. So by the help of electric arc, high temperatures such as 3300 Kelvin can be obtained. And for very high temperature, that is above 3300 Kelvin, a carbon dioxide laser with output in the infrared can give temperature up to 4300 Kelvin. So this is different sources for increasing the temperature in furnace: resistance heating, electric arc, and carbon dioxide laser. Containers in which we put the reaction mixture. So containers may be made of silica, and silica can withstand the temperature up to 1430 Kelvin. And container may be made up of alumina, because alumina can withstand high temperature as compared to silica, that is 2200 Kelvin. Zirconia containers are also used for as a reaction for keeping the reaction mixture, and it can withstand up to 2300 Kelvin temperature. Magnesia can withstand up to 2700 Kelvin temperature. But metals such as platinum, tantalum, and graphite linings are used for some reactions. Lining inside the container, platinum, tantalum, and graphite, because some reactants are highly reactive and they will react with magnesia or zirconia or alumina, so a lining inside the container is used for making the lining inert. If any of the reactants are volatile or air sensitive, then this simple method of heating in the open atmosphere is no longer appropriate, and a sealed tube method will be needed. So the reactants are not always like ionic solids, which are non-volatile. Some reactants can be volatile and they can be air sensitive. They can react with the air oxygen. Then special methods will be used for such type of reactants. That is sealed tube method, in which there will be no air and there will be no wastage of the vapors of the reactants. This is sealed tube method and ceramic method. In sealed tube method, such type of tubes are used. The furnace is in form of tube. Evacuated tubes are used when the products are sensitive to air or water or are volatile. Vacuum is generated in these tubes. For example, samarium sulfide preparation is done in this evacuated tube type furnace. Sulfur has low boiling temperature, 717 Kelvin. Samarium metal in powder form and powdered sulfur stoichiometric proportion. So the reactant are samarium metal and the second reactant is sulfur. So both reactants, samarium and sulfur, are mixed in stoichiometric proportion. And both of the reactants are in what form? Powder form. They are heated in evacuated silica tube, the tube made up of silica. At what temperature? 1000 Kelvin. Product homogenized and heated again at 2300 Kelvin in tantalum tube by passing an electric current through the tube. The product which is formed, the product will be samarium sulfide. It will be homogenized, mean it will be crushed into powder and then homogenized and then heated again. At what temperature? First it is heated at 1000 Kelvin. Now after homogenization, it is again heated in 2300 Kelvin temperature. First the tube was silica tube and now the tube which can withstand this high temperature is tantalum tube by passing an electric current through the tube. Thus high temperature is produced by passing electric current through the tube. And the resistance of tantalum providing the heat. So when current is produced, resistance is produced, and due to resistance, heating is produced, and this high temperature is maintained due to resistance heating. So here is the gas, but the case here we have studied about the preparation of samarium sulfide. No gas here will be used. Here the vacuum will be used. Sometime during the preparation of the materials from ceramic method, we need special atmosphere. The preparation of some compounds needs special atmosphere, and sometimes we need argon atmosphere. And argon is an inert gas and it is used to prevent oxidation to a higher oxidation state, oxidation of the material to higher oxidation state. It is prevented by argon because argon is an inert gas. And sometimes oxygen atmosphere is used. And why oxygen atmosphere is used? To encourage the formation of high oxidation state, because oxygen promote oxidation and high oxidation state materials are formed in the presence of oxygen atmosphere. Sometimes hydrogen atmosphere is used. And why it is used? It is used to produce low oxidation state. Because hydrogen is not an oxidizing agent, it is reducing agent, so low oxidation state will be produced in the presence of hydrogen atmosphere. Reactant solids in small boat placed in a tube in a horizontal tube furnace. So a tube is also used, which we have seen in the previous slide. Tube is used and the sample is placed in a boat type container. And horizontal furnace is used in which the gas is present in appropriate pressure. Reducing the particle size and lowering the temperature. Ceramic, we know that in ceramic method, the particle size of the material is not very small. High particle size materials are formed, and if we want To reduce the particle size, what will we do? And we know a very high temperature is required in ceramic method. So when we need a low temperature for the synthesis of material, what we will do? Polycrystalline mixture of solid reactants, particle size expected order of 10 micrometer. When we prepared polycrystalline mixture of solid reactants by ceramic method, what will be the particle size? Almost 10 micrometer. Diffusion during the ceramic reaction is therefore taking place across anywhere between 100 and 10,000 unit cells. Inside the unit cell, the diffusion of particles among each other is taking place between 100 and 10,000 unit cells. Various ingenious methods, some physical and some chemicals, have been pioneered to bring the components of the reaction either into more intimate contact, because it is not a very one-to-one unit contact of one-to-one unit cell. It is 100 to 10,000 unit cell. It is direct contact after 100 to 10,000 unit cells. So, for bringing the one-to-one contact of the unit cell, several new methods have been developed in which component of the reaction either into more intimate contact, mean more close contact of the reactant, or into contact at an atomic level. Such close contact, that is atomic level contact, and so reduce this diffusion path, that is diffusion path 100 to 10,000 unit cells. In doing so, the reaction can often take place at lower temperature. So if we reduce the path between the unit cell, diffusion path between the unit cell, the temperature requirement can also be decreased, because when we are closing the reactants at atomic scale, the reaction speed automatically increased, and there is no need of very high temperature for increasing the rate of reaction. With high temperature is for increasing the rate of reaction, and when we are closing the reactants up to atomic level, then automatically the rate of reaction will be increased due to closeness of the reactant particle. Spray drying and freeze drying method. The reactant are dissolved in a suitable solvent and spread as fine droplets into hard chamber. The solvent evaporates, leaving a mixture of the solid as fine powder, which can then be heated to give the product. So these two are methods for bringing the reactant particle very close to each other. And the first method, spray drying, the reactants are not used in powder form. The powder of the reactants is dissolved in suitable solvent, and then this solution is sprayed in very fine droplets into the hard chamber of the furnace. The solvent evaporates and a mixture of solids are obtained in very fine powder, in which there is very close contact of the unit cells to each other, and then these fine powder are heated to give the product. This method is spray drying product. We are spraying the solution of the reactants in the furnace. Freeze drying. The reactant are dissolved in suitable solvent. Here is same procedure. Here is also reactant are dissolved in suitable solvent. But what's the difference? Then the solution is frozen to liquid nitrogen temperature, that is 77 Kelvin. The solvent is then removed by pumping to leave a fine reactive powder. We prepare a frozen mixture, and then we remove the solvent by pumping method, by using a pump, and a fine powder of the reactant is obtained. And that fine powder is put in the furnace for the reaction, and in this fine powder there is very close contact of the, because particle size is very small, so that there is very close contact of the reactant particles to each other.